We start the show with Cody freaking Rhodes opening up at Madison Square Garden. Look, I was not expecting him to show up, but I kind of get it. It's Madison Square Garden, legendary arena. WWE has long history in New York City with that arena. This was a build-up for his match with Randy Orton, and he gets confronted by Stephanie McMahon, which I was not expecting at all. These two had a heated confrontation, if you want to call it. She was bringing up her experience against Randy Orton when she was involved with the promo with Triple H from years ago. She went on to say that Cody Rhodes is not his father, and then Cody Rhodes repeats the same thing. He gets a slap from Steph, and then it kind of is supposed to maybe waken him up. Cody Rhodes thanks Steph at the end of it, but that's kind of how it ends. I hope it's kind of, builds up a little bit on this coming Friday. How Smackdown ended last week, in my opinion, wasn't the greatest. So hopefully this livens up this build even more. And next we got the street fight between the Usos and the Vision. Jam-packed action in this one. We had LA Knight on commentary for this one. I don't know where this is all going because I Show Speed was also involved in this as well. In fact, they're painting it as if I Show Speed was involved in this finish, which in my opinion, he kind of wasn't. Based on how much time passed from the time he got involved, the Usos ended up losing. I was not expecting a change to the titles tonight, but hey, it happened. It kind of makes things a little interesting for what's going to happen at Mania. We'll see where this goes. Liv and Stephanie Vaquer promo. Again, another beautiful thing of storytelling where they show how much two people hate each other, bro. She calls Stephanie Vaquer's mother garbage, basically in Spanish. Steph comes out. They have another heated brawl. But how this ends is Roxanne Perez. Now she's back and involved in this build. As expected, she's still part of the Judgment Day after all. I've been all for this build, and I cannot wait for this match. It's one of the matches I'm looking forward to the most for Mania, actually. Next was the women tag team match between Bayley Lyra and the Irresistible Forces, and it went exactly how everyone thought. Basically, this was not going to be a clean finish. All four teams, Charlexa, Bella Twins, they came in, interfered, all chaos. They all teamed up to take out the Forces, and again, fatal four-way. We don't have a stip at this time, nor is this match confirmed. I'm recording this as the show is going on, so if it does happen, here's a graphic. Okay, next was the Brock Lesnar and FEMI segment, and guys, holy freaking crap, what a segment that was. I am more excited for this match compared to the other two WrestleMania main events. That's just my opinion, based on the builds that we've been getting so far. The type of moments we've had in this build, the importance and hype that's being built behind this match, bro. This is the match to see at this time. And I think it's going to stay that way. Next match was the IC title match between Penta and Kofi Kingston. Match was pretty solid, but basically Penta retained, and he has plans for WrestleMania. This was something I was worried about because I did not know what direction WWE was going to book him towards because there's nothing going on. But we're talking about Penta here, a guy who's going to fight anybody, anywhere, anytime, and that's what we're having at WrestleMania. It is going to be a 5-man ladder match. It's going to be Penta, Dragon Lee, Javon Evans, JD McDonough, and Rusev. There's no build that's going to be necessary. I'm going to be hyped for this match regardless. We're talking about Penta in a ladder match here. That's enough said, bro. Okay, and one big thing that kind of confused everyone today was Gunther's return to Raw. We all knew that Gunther was going to have some type of plans for WrestleMania. That's kind of what everyone online was saying. It was unclear on where exactly they were going to go with that, because this segment started with Paul Heyman. Seth Rollins is medically cleared for action. Seth Rollins comes out, his Paul Heyman with a steel chair, and then Gunther comes out of nowhere and puts him in the sleeper. The actions behind it are very confusing. No one knows why. Gunther did not say why. I'm assuming we'll find out next week. It almost felt random, I'm not gonna lie, but if you're having a match between Gunther and Seth Rollins, I am all for it. I and a lot of people wanted to have Braun Breaker versus Seth Rollins, but unfortunately Braun Breaker doesn't seem to be medically ready for this year's Mania. I am curious to see the direction they're heading with this, because it was confirmed later on Raw that they are having a match. On announced team, they did say that Gunther was aiming for another career. I highly doubt that this is going to turn into a career match. So I'm confused. A lot of people are as well, but we'll see how this goes next week. Okay, next was Iyo versus Raquel. One of the matches I said in Raw pregame that I was excited for, solely because I wanted to see if there's going to be any indication of the Mania plans for Iyo. I'm a big Iyo fan. I want to see her at the show. We haven't got any confirmation yet, but the Kabuki Warriors were out there. Kairi is still going through it, still getting bullied by Asuka. Iyo wanted to stop that, so she got distracted, and then she got the L. She took the L because of it. I am still wondering if they're going to have just Asuka versus Iyo. That seems to be the case based on the ending of tonight's show. I don't think they're doing triple threat. That's just not the vibe I was getting from the end of this match. But we'll see next week. To end the show, we had CM Punk power bombing Roman Reigns through the table. I was a little bit worried, I'm not gonna lie, about this promo because it almost started to feel like the one that ended Friday Night SmackDown between Randy and Cody, where they had to be separated multiple times, but it ended with Punk hitting a GTS before power bombing Roman through the table. Of note, no Usos in sight, none of the Bloodline in sight. People thought and were speculating that, you know, they might get involved. There's still time for them to get involved, but it did not happen at Madison Square Garden tonight, y'all. CM Punk stood tall. My prediction ended up becoming wrong. I thought Roman Reigns might take, you know, like the W for tonight, but it did not happen. I was under the assumption that the Usos were going to get involved in this build again, but that was not the case tonight. That was the end to Raw. Overall, I would say the high for me was again the OBA, FEMI, and Brock Lesnar segment. Yes, they did have to get separated and cut off, but that is still what is hyping me the most for WrestleMania. I am very excited. I am going to be at Mania this year live in person, so even with a broken foot, I am going to be enjoying this match. What did you guys think of Raw this week? Let me know down in the comments. What are your predictions for Mania? But until then, thank you guys for watching, and remember to be yourself, love yourself, and do what makes you happy. Peace out, guys.